the people you are leading are not having anything that is, that will resemble, a good healthcare, then it becomes a problem. But what I, deduced from the position of the former president is just, a statement of regret, because if you know before now that you don't have the capacity to withstand the pressure.
But he did 8 years.
No, that's what I'm saying.
4 years. Did he not get the?
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Okay.
Now look, he had issues in his first 4 years in office.
Okay.
That was when he was flown abroad and he stayed almost a year to look after himself.
Okay.
So you knew all this while that the pressure was too much. Yet you fielded yourself again for the second term.
Quickly, I'd love to throw this question. Do you think he was really pressured due to the fact that the country at that time was, in a way, it was? Do you think the president actually did, the former president was pressured in his position to say his health was affected? I'd love to ask you.
I wouldn't say that it was pressured to the point where his health
got affected.
Was like, I earlier mentioned that nobody anticipated. In fact, you may not be able to predict what the health conditions would be when you get into office. Of course, man is organic.
Yes.
As you grow older in life, certain things that you didn't take into account from the beginning begin to crop up. But again, the pressures of office, we can't run away from it. That's why I think government puts at some point. For public servants, you have a retirement age. Having served for 35 years, you retire. And then for public officers, the issue of health, is technically the issue of health. How prepared you are, is also a major factor. Recall that it was during Yar'Adua's campaign that at some point the information filtered out that he wasn't too sound, and his predecessor, which was President Obasanjo, even had to put him on. In fact, it was relayed on the national news network, and then asked Umaru, "Are you alive? Umaru, are you alive?" All those things. That shows you the fact that the healthiness of a president is a major factor. But God ultimately can decide, can determine how healthy and well a person could be, even with improvements in medical science and so on. But for me, this story is positively a good one. It's a good one in the sense that I had always prayed that our presidents should be alive. Even our heads of states, should be alive. And just about 2 weeks ago, we saw them go to France over the Mambila probe before the international courts. So if they are not there, who goes to give the account of what happened or how well and to what extent they know about this project? So it's a plus for the country that is well, is alive, and is also kicking, such that he could be called at any point in time to answer for some of the things that happened under his administration. So,
Mr. Ayotamla, in essence, did you answer my question that he was pressured? Okay, amen. Did you answer? I don't know if you answered the question of if he was pressured while in office. For the past 10 years that he served as the president of the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we saw the situation of the country while he was the president, and oftentimes when he had foreign trips on health purposes. Do you think the pressure actually really got him? Consider
economy, and the third one, corruption. So if you look at it and you put the index, of how well this be implemented under his administration, you would know that it was under pressure.
No, but I think sorry to go. I think some of these things they play on the intelligence of Nigerians, because you see, pressure can come in any form, and as a leader, you should anticipate pressure. In fact, it's one of the things that you must put first, consider first why having that intention to run for public office. If you are not expecting to be under pressure in any time, that means you are not even ready for leadership. Whether you are the president, whether you are a governor, local government chairman, these pressures must come. That is why you must, first of all, check if you have the capacity, mental capacity, physical capacity, and every other consideration. This is not the time for, you know, trying to whip up sentiment and pity. You know, why all the aggravation? Why all the you know the desperation? You know, former President Muhammadu Buhari contested for presidency for up to 4 times before he eventually got elected in 2015. And now you are saying that you feel better now and all of that. So for me, it's just a way to tell Nigerians that if I had known, because of course, corruption that he fought against, it was during his administration that we saw a CBN governor who almost stole the entire country. The economy was something else. You know, so at what point did all these things translate to quality leadership? So for me, it's Nigerians, they are not left now to understand fully. Once it's time for leadership recruitment, we must consider all the major factors that we must put into consideration, so that we don't, you know, elect people into office that will come to and begin to sound as though they were forced into running for that
This
office.
conversation would have lingered because I wanted to ask you a question about Nigerians checkmating all of that. If it's a possibility that can actually happen, but I don't want to...
but we have enough of time. You know, we had an offline talk when we were saying about leaders being products of society. How, you know, so the leaders we have is a true reflection of who we are as a people.
Do you think we get that opportunity to checkmate all of that on the leaders?
Of course. Okay. People have track records.
How do
people have antecedents?
Has any of them actually been the track records that have been put, the track records you're talking about, has anyone been accepted, you know, that Nigerians have put out there? You know, we've had presidents, even I would not want to call names. We know of certain presidents that, you know, there are certain past records that have been brought to the public, and we just talk about them and then it goes back into the door.
The thing is that we have short memories. Me, I must say here that in 2015, I was one of those people who supported former President Muhammadu Buhari, because he had a track record.
So what if he had a track record before he became the president, that he is not fit to be the president at the time, but he still got into that position? Do you think what you're trying to say would have actually been implemented?
Now, he was tested in his first tenure in office.
Okay.
That could have provided a veritable opportunity for Nigerians to understand fully the capacity of the man, because once you have been tested, whether it's for 3 years or 4 years, your first tenure, you know, there was nothing significant to show.
Did Nigerians speak up at that time or not?
No, but he was re-elected. So how do you expect Nigerians to speak up? Okay. He was re-elected.
If I may add, you know, it has to do with the leadership recruitment process. Why you say whether Nigerians had an option or not. You also know that our democracy is party-based. We have only, it was towards the end of his tenure that for the first time they approved the independent candidature. You know, that in itself has not been popularized with members of the public. Otherwise, our constitution recognizes party-based politics. And once the party throws up a particular candidate, the electorates have little or no option, because it's the party that throws up the candidates. These are candidates, and they see everybody combined with a prebendal nature of making sure that we support people from our ethnic groups, we support people from our religious groups. We can't run away from these things because these are the realities of things that happen. Religion plays a major role in our politics, side by side with
regional sentiments,
and so on, ethnic sentiments and so on. So once, and then of course we in Nigeria we talk about rotation, and the rotation has come to stay right from the period of MPN, you know, which was the ruling party as of 79 to 83. In fact, it was then that the rotation of presidency started being entrenched in our body politic, and also governorship and so on. So under that option, it is the parties once they throw up, and that is why we need to really examine our leadership recruitment process.
They know how to craft these things, you know. They have sugar-coated tongues. They know that Nigerians need quality, and they know what quality is. But the problem is implementation. The problem is giving out some of these things they just mentioned that they've been saying over and over again, that is now becoming, that goes to show how, you know, some of these things don't really matter to them. But because they've been invited to speak, you know, they sat down to craft something that when you hear it, you will be blown away. But it's going to take forever before we see some of these things being implemented and put on the ground, and Nigerians can see that they're actually honest and true to their words. They're talking about straining democracy, and people are still complaining about our electoral system. In 2007, I beg your pardon, when we had the elections that brought in late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, after the entire process, he confessed that the entire process was actually not impressive, that he knew that everything was, you know, was not done properly. And he set up the Always Commission to look into our electoral process and come up with solutions on how to get a better system. Leadership recruitment, very, very important, because it is a process that will bet some things, you know, we are recommended, this electronic system and all of that, that we've still not been able to get it right. It shows that even from the get-go, there was no sincerity of purpose and intention. Because if there was, by now we will not be complaining about how leaders, you know, were recruited and people will still not be satisfied, where you will still have to wait for the judiciary to decide who eventually becomes the president, the governor, the local government. So these are the issues. So for me, we should move away from the rhetorics of talk all the time. We talk too much in this country. Let us sit down and think of how to put things in place so that things can start working, even if it's to lay the foundation.
Thank you so much.
Because when you lay foundation, people will see that the structure is being built, and it will further build the confidence in Nigerians. But what we see,
I said it all, but let me just add that first, that this is almost like rehearsing the manifesto of the APC administration from 2015 till date. I mentioned it earlier when we talked about an issue. But again, let me just say that spy, and let us see that security is also improves. You know, no doubt you have to give them some credits, especially in the northeast and northwest, the Zamfara areas, that security has improved. But just like we discussed in the case of Kaduna, I think much more. I think that much more still has to be done.
Okay.
That synergy must be there.
Okay.
And then to fight corruption, to open no transparent process of holding anybody to accounts. And yet everybody is just behaving business as usual and going about his activity. And already talking about 2027 election, you know, less than 6 months into the present administration, we are talking, and that means there is no remorse. In fact, we might come to a point where, you know, election. In fact, the election will, people will be seen strong. In fact, there's no trust. There must be accountability.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayotamuno. We will go on a quick break where we
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. Renowned legal icon and elder statesman Afe Babalola has announced his decision to withdraw the criminal defamation suits he filed against human rights activist and author Dele Farotimi. The decision follows an appeal led by the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and other prominent Yoruba traditional rulers during a late-night visit to Babalola's residence at Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti. Abdul at about 10:30 p.m. was accompanied by other top Yoruba traditional rulers. The Oni described Farotimi as a son and urged Babalola to extend mercy. In addition to the traditional rulers, other notable figures including former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Bishop Hassan Kuka reached out to Babalola through letters and calls, urging him to withdraw the case. The senior advocate of Nigeria emphasized that he had no personal gain in pursuing the imprisonment of Farotimi, stating that he have nothing to gain in Farotimi being jailed. Babalola acknowledged the significance of the Yoruba leaders' intervention and their commitment to maintaining unity and harmony within the country. Oh, quickly, I'd love to start with you because you're an elder, and then when there's a misunderstanding between two siblings in the house, they'll go to the father and to settle the space.
Well, that's it's interesting, the dimension perspective that this matter has currently taken. The traditional rulers, in fact, frontline traditional rulers of the Yoruba nationality, adding voice, not just speaking or doing data, but also practically paying a visit to Afebabalola, who himself is also a title holder. Is also a title holder, and sometimes these are areas where we may agree or we may disagree. Where culture apparently seems to interfere with some of the processes that sometimes legal, sometimes constitutional. Sometimes we have these habits in our nation. This, in fact, not a habit, but a culture of finding political solution to very serious matters. For some of us, we had expected that the matter, will fully be heard, and in fact, we will test the entire issues that are at stake, that ultimately